Bonsoir, welcome to another episode of Wine of the Week. This week we're off to a very famous area. We're off to Burgundy. Burgundy is in eastern France, and in particular we're off to Chablis, which is in the northern part of the Burgundy area. The particular Chablis we're profiling here today is the Pierre de Prehy, which is made by Domaine Bricard in the Chablis area. There it is there. It's recently out of the fridge, but I think the temperature by the time we open the wine will be okay. It'll warm up a little bit just while we're filming this. The thing about this wine, and the reason I wanted to do Chablis fairly early in the series, is that there is again a very strong link between Australia and the Chablis type of style of wine, because Australia is noted for Chardonnay wines, and indeed Chablis is made up of 100% Chardonnay grapes. The thing about Chardonnay and Chablis is that Chardonnay grapes is that it's a dry white wine. And the thing about the concept of being a dry wine means that it lacks sweetness. In other words, it's not like a passion pop or some sort of wine cooler out of the 80s, which was of course the decade of shame and best forgotten. The particular characteristic of Chablis has to do with the fact that it is a cool climate area, and therefore the wines tend to have a fairly high acidity, and also they tend to lack the ripe fruit flavours of warmer regions that produce Chardonnay grapes. The key thing about that is, and this is the word I'd probably most like to use with Chablis, is that it has a sharp characteristic to the taste. And this is even more so as most commonly Chablis, as distinct from many Chardonnay wines around the world, tends not to be aged or be exposed to oak barrels. I'm therefore making a comparison between Chablis, which is using Chardonnay grapes, and an Australian classical Chardonnay, which I've grown used to and really grown up with. The thing about an Australian Chardonnay is there is an enormous amount of ripe fruit in most of the Chardonnays. It's a far more sweet wine and often exposed to oak. In fact, I've often said that the really big Chardonnays in Australia are so buttery, so rich and so buttery, that you could actually substitute the Chardonnay for butter on your toast. Part of that is due to a concept of what's called malolactic fermentation, and that does tend to impart a buttery flavour. Chablis, generally, that's not the way it works there. Most of the wine is actually in steel vats, and that's the way that the wine is actually produced. And in fact, it does tend to impart, some people say, a steely quality to the wine, quite a sharp and steely quality to the wine. Now, the thing about this is, this illustrates a really important concept, I believe, in terms of people's taste in general, and specifically when it starts to come to wine. As soon as they hear Chardonnay, an Australian starts to think of the oak and the usually young fruit, and relatively, although it's a dry grape, dry wine, they tend to think of a sweeter and more buttery, rich flavour. That is definitely not your archetypal Chablis. And so from that point of view, this is where you have to start to really appreciate when you move to different regions that, you know, the topography is different, and there are so many things that are different. It's one of the actual reasons that I wanted to move to this part of the world. It's completely on the other side of the world to where I come from. Many of the things are extremely different to what I'm used to back in Australia, and that's part of the great experience of actually being here. And so with a Chablis, it's so not an Australian Chardonnay. The best way I can put it is that some of the big oaked Chardonnays around the world, and including some of the big oaked Chardonnays out of Australia, are a bit like an all-you-can-eat buffet to me. And then there's a floor show afterwards. I mean, you kind of start the evening with the can, but by the end of it, once you've had a few of those big oak Chardonnays, you wind up with a can't. And that's the sort of way I see it. It's just so rich, it completely overpowers you. Chablis tends to not be like that. You could probably drink more Chablis and not have that sort of feeling of the bloated and really overpowered by the wine feeling. Chablis isn't about that at all. So it's actually an excellent food accompaniment, particularly to some of the, sort of white meats and things like that. Chablis goes wonderfully well. This particular wine, its aging potential, they're saying, is about 4 to 5 years, and served at about 10 to 12 degrees, which is probably about what it'll be when we open it. So again, I can't find my foil cutter, so here we go with the old knife trick. Spin it around and give it the get rid of the foil. Okay, that's the end of that one. And here's my famous monopole from Germany, the cork remover, which is a great device. So here we go, we pop it in there like that. Basically just twist it out. Perfect, look at that one, beautiful. Very nice. So it's actually a Diam cork, so that's a form of artificial cork, basically a Diam, but very common and very good consistency of a Diam cork, and excellent to seal white wines with. We see a lot of those, in fact, in Australia. Okay, let's give it a rub. There we go. Let's see any genies. Come on, genie. Come on, genie. Nope. No cigar once again. Oh, never mind. Let's pour it out into, this is some nice stemware here, Rydell glass. Nice Chardonnay style or Chablis style of glass. There's a little fleck of cork in there, which we won't worry about too much. Okay, so there it is. There's our wine. So it's really quite a light colour. Very light, sort of just a sort of off-white, and very sort of light yellow type tones about that one. People could say that was straw, I guess, straw coloured. So, and that's what you'd expect from a Chablis. And again, it's a pity that I didn't have an Australian Chardonnay or an oak Chardonnay here, because an oak Chardonnay would be far almost more orange colour, far deeper yellows, and as I say, can even look a bit orange, whereas a Chablis tends to be far more of that typical sort of straw colour. So let's we've had a look at it, and that's as I say, a very classical colour of a Chablis. And a smell. Okay, this is quite a young wine. It's 2014, so, and not too far off kicking into 2016, so it's quite young. And so as such, it actually does have quite a bit of fruit coming through there. And the other thing too, and I've said this quite a bit, not a huge amount of alcohol up front, and I must say I really do enjoy that. Well, I'm not sure what the alcohol content of this one is, so let's have a look if we can work this one out. It is 12.5%. Yeah, so some of the Australian Chardonnays get right up there, they can get up to like 14%. But you're not overpowered by alcohol at all. Really, it's just some ripe fruit and perhaps some melon maybe in there. This is the aromas that I'm sort of sensing. Yeah, so even possibly a little bit grass characteristic. But either way, it's a classical sort of Chablis kind of aroma. It's certainly not overpowering the olfactory nerve there. So the taste. Yeah. You really have to drink the big oak Chardonnays to appreciate the massive difference between a big oak Chardonnay and a Chablis. They're almost like totally different wines, even though they're both made with Chardonnay grapes. As I say, there's a certain sharpness and acidity about that wine, and in fact, that's the upfront thing, but the aftertaste as well, and the finish of the wine even, it does have that more metallic or steely concept to it. And as I say, if you're brought up on really rich wines, the big oak Chardonnays, for example, you might find this wine, you might say, oh, I don't really go for that. If that's a Chardonnay, then I I had in the past, but I really stress to you that this goes so well with certain foods. Like, for example, this would go so well with sushi. Because again, a big oak Chardonnay will absolutely drop a bomb on your taste buds, and you just cannot taste the sushi after that. Unless it's some sort of, I don't know, doused in soy sauce and goodness knows what. But this, on the other hand, would go superbly well with that. As I say, it's got an acidity to it. It actually has the effect probably of cleansing your palate. What I mean by that is, particularly goes well with food. So that taste, beer actually has the same effect. Not the big sort of wheat beers and things like that, but a normal sort of beer, like particularly some of the Asian beers like Asahi or something like that. They tend to, they're not overpowering, and they go very, very well with the food. And I'm actually going to do a segment on that. This is the same sort of thing here. It's almost cleaning the palate out, getting rid of, you've got the taste of the wine, but it's not dominating everything. And there's certainly a sweetness about it, but it's a dry sweetness. It's not like drinking port or, a Sauterne or something like that. And all in all, this is not an expensive wine, and I must say I've never had it before, and I am really quite impressed with this wine, but particularly at the pricing point. I'd be loosely saying that was about €10, give or take. So, give or take around 10 American dollars or a bit more in Australian dollar terms, but not an expensive wine at all by any standard. But on the other hand, really quite an enjoyable Chablis, this one. Okay, so we've got the old scoring system where Cristal Champagne is 10. Now, again, I must stress that we need to leave room for, the best in breed wines. And so, as much as I'm enjoying this, I'm also mindful of the fact that it is approximately €10. So if I compared it to, say, other €10 Chablis, I'm going to give this, may give this a 9. But I think we have to respect the fact that in the end, if it was up against the glass of Cristal Champagne or up against the absolute best in breed Chablis, then clearly it probably won't have some of the amazing characteristics that this wine style can at times have. So on the scale, I'm going to give this Chablis, I'm going to give it a 7, which I think is very impressive for a €10 bottle of wine. Really very impressive. In fact, to be honest with you, I expected this would have scored maybe a 4 or a 5, just on the price point, not on the characteristics of the wine, just because it'd have to be really exceedingly good to move into the up towards 10. But I'm going to give it a 7. It's a very nice wine. So once again, we're regional here. I'm in Monaco, but the Chablis area is in Burgundy, eastern France. Very famous wines. Chardonnay, great. If you happen to come across this wine, I can definitely recommend it. It would go wonderfully well with, as I say, seafood, sushi, some of the lighter dishes like that, lighter styles of food. And we've given it a 7, so it's an excellent wine. So have a good week, and we look forward to another instalment next week. Au revoir.